And welcome to another show of Don't Get This Twisted. I am the professor. Really, I'm Rob, but you know what we do. Along with my co-host Tina. How you doing, Tina?
I'm good, Rob. I don't have to be censored anymore.
No more censoring. I've decided that, look, this is who I am. And my really good friend we talked about not too long ago said that I need to start being Rob. So that's who I am.
You've always been Rob to me.
I know. And just so you know,
do the editing.
That's true. And on an off subject, we just got the okay from our producer that she's going to come on the show and we'll have a talk with us.
Well, there it is.
Yes, that's good. So we're going to talk about something that's kind of utterly funny and people do every year since we're getting towards the end of the year is New Year's resolutions and the lack thereof, or if you do them, if we know people who do them, all that fun stuff, because, well, someone across the country said, you should do a show on New Year's resolutions.
Here we are.
And it's funny. I just told my friend that she should be our producer and she was like, I'll do it from afar. I'll help you with some shows if we need some topics. So, which is always good because sometimes me and you we do shit on the fly. When it's a two-person show, we do this shit and it's funny, if people really only knew the shoestring budget we do this on, they'd have no idea. You know, when it's the producers right now are you and me, the talent, the on-air talent, you and me.
Yep.
When it comes to coming up with subjects, you and me.
Yep.
And when it comes to editing, it's me. And that's only because I have the software.
Yep.
This whole show is literally two people. So if I can get a little help from my friend across the country to help produce this, it would be super awesome. So, but New Year's resolutions, let's get onto the subject. Mostly because I think growing up, 80s and 90s, and I know I still see it on the news now, but New Year's resolutions were always the big thing. Like, what's your resolution for the new year? And I used to do them all the time. And
did you?
Yeah, whatever it was. Mostly as a younger person, it was like, hey, I'm going to do this better, or I'm going to try to be better at work, or I'm going to try to, whatever, do your thing. Not until later did it become, maybe I should lose some weight, because that is, I think, the biggest one for sure that I see. Right.
I think everybody I know has had that resolution at least one time in their lives. I've seen that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, and it was funny because I was at the gym the other morning and I was kind of telling you off air, like we're sitting out in front and we're waiting for it to open. It's 5:00 in the morning. It's butt ass cold. And I said, and we were talking about Christmas coming and I was like, oh, New Year's is coming. And the guy goes, yeah, packed the gym's going to be after this. And I was like, yeah, it's going to suck, man. And he goes, don't worry about it. It'll only be packed for about a week and a half. And then all those people who join the gym will fucking quit. And I was like, I guess that's a good point.
That's true.
So I think true. It is true. And I'm sure that gym memberships at the beginning of the year must skyrocket. Mm-hmm. And then just level out, or people keep it and don't go, or just, quit altogether. So, I think it's interesting. I mean, do you know if you have any friends or family that even try to stick to that thing anymore?
I have a lot of friends say that starting the 1st, they're going to do this or they're going to do that. And I just encourage them as much as possible and know that they'll do it for a bit, but you could tell they're not into it, so I just encourage them and hope maybe they could get into it. And if not, we'll have the same discussion next year. I personally don't believe in New Year's resolutions. when I was younger, I was always overweight. So, of course, the resolution was I have to be thin. I have to work out more. I have to eat less. I have to do whatever the hell it was. And what I realized is I was making myself insecure. Instead of me saying I had to look a certain way, wouldn't it have been smarter had I thought to myself, maybe I should just work on being a better person, having more patience, being closer to loved ones. And I did have those sort of epiphanies at different times in my life, but I would have liked to have had those in place of worrying about the size of my pants. So I gave them up a long time ago and just started working on me.
And I think that that's kind of the thing for me as a New Year's resolution, like we were talking not too long ago. Like, to me, it's just make it through the day now. My New Year's resolution is make it through every day the best I can and see what happens. Because trying to put yourself on some kind of pedestal and be like, I need to do this because it's a new year. No, I think we just need to do this because it's life.
It's time. Yeah.
Yeah. So what type of person do you think makes New Year's resolutions? That's such an open-ended question, but
everybody.
Yeah. I think that there is probably a model person who does that. Like, obviously
somebody that wants to be better or wants to fix an issue they're having, or
that they're using that as the backbone of catalyst of trying to fix an issue they're having in their life. Like, if I just do this will be better. And I think that it's not a bad thing. I just think that it should be a daily thing instead of a New Year's resolution thing. I get the reasoning behind it, because I think some people do need that push for whatever their thing is. I used to think that was me. I used to think that I was the guy who needed that push. But like I said, I think my inner person at this age is definitely just get through the day, because the sunrise tomorrow is definitely something new. And I think if you look at life in that shitty days happen, and they're going to happen. And it's how you react to that shitty day. A New Year's resolution isn't going to change 4 months from now when you have a shitty day at work.
Right.
But it might be the catalyst of pushing yourself forward. Like, my self-confidence isn't very good, so I'm going to dress differently, or I'm going to go buy a nice shirt, because I think where I'm at, I was just talking to my friend and I was like, look, I don't think I dress very well. I wear shorts and a t-shirt way too much. I wore a collared shirt the other night. We were hanging out and she was like, oh yeah, you look really good and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I need help. Like, and this shirt I was wearing I thought it fit me. She's like, yeah, that shirt doesn't fit you. It's too big, because I've lost a lot of weight. And I was like, really? I think it looks okay. And she's like, pull it in a little bit. And I was like, oh, like this. She goes, yeah, that's how it's supposed to fit. Yeah. And I was like, wait, I thought I looked pretty good. She goes, you do look great. I think you look very handsome. But that being said, we should probably get you a shirt that fits you. And I was like, talk about just shrinking me down to size.
No, she wasn't. She was working she was showing you how you could be better. She wasn't busting your balls.
No, I don't think she was, but I think she was doing it in a very friendly way.
Yeah.
And I think it was more that she was trying to tell me that I'm smaller than I think I am.
Yeah.
And
that I was thinking that too.
That I still think I'm, like I said, she got me an extra large shirt and it fits and it did look nice on me. And this person wouldn't ever not tell me something. And she was like, you look very good in that shirt and handsome and a bunch of other things. And I was like, oh, and she even said, like, I put it on and I giggled and my smile was really big. And she was like, I'm telling you this because I want you to feel good about yourself, but to know that, yeah, like you need to wear the right damn shirt.
In the right size.
Exactly. So I'm going to do my best to like that kind of thing where when people tell me something, maybe that'll be my resolution this year is when people actually do tell you something, generally they mean it. and
Well,
no, but you can get in your own head so much that you're like, oh, thanks. You're just being nice. And you just don't realize what it is. And it's not just like on my weight loss or anything else. It's in life. If someone tells you something, 99% of the time, they probably mean it. And you can't take things with a grain of salt. So maybe that is the resolution that some, not a resolution, but just life. Because I think a resolution is like that.
I do the same thing. I had this sort of thing that the other day where I thought about what was said and I was like, that's not how I took it. And because it was about me, I sort of dismissed it instead of just accepting the compliment. And yeah, I realized I do that a lot. I just realized that. I don't know why it just happened, but.
And me too. I realize that. I mean, I do it a lot. And I think that that's just whatever your self-confidence level is, like I said, we both can talk and we're both pretty, I don't want to say flamboyant, but we're very open personalities. Like when you're around us, we're
hamming it up.
Yeah. We're not the life of the party, but we are definitely part of that.
We're definitely stirring that pot.
Yeah. And that's the problem with both of us together. We like to get a big old spoon and just stir away. But, your own self-confidence, and I've seen it with other friends and other people, they do have this big personality, but when you really break them down, you find out that maybe they're not. And I think that is kind of me. Like my self-confidence is probably lower than more people think, because I am this big personality sometimes. And I think that when I was a wrestler, being in front of a bunch of people, I learned very quickly to put this big personality out there, even though I may have been wearing a mask. And I think a lot of people still do that in life. I try not to wear a mask anymore, but even I have that issue with, and I don't even just mean appearance of self-confidence in talking to other human beings or telling people your feelings or whatever. Some of us still wear a mask. And I think that,
I'm sorry, keep going.
No.
I see you so different. I really like that guy that ignored me for 6 weeks. That's why I kept trying. That's why I was persistent. I don't think you give yourself enough credit. I really don't think that most people do.
Yes.
But even that quiet person was enough to get my attention. And you know how I am. I may be working this side of the room, but I know what the whole room is doing, So I think you just cut yourself a little short. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think a lot of us do. And again, I think that's the personality types we might be talking about with New Year's resolutions, is that people try to make these resolutions based on things that either they feel inside or can be very surface level. So, when I think it comes to people who make these things, obviously it's people that are trying to say something to the world. Yeah. Or to be better. I mean, I think that's we all want to be better. That's the other thing. I think that most people don't like to. Nobody
wants things to be worse. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's out there like, let's try to make it better. Their focus may be different than other people's, but I think that everybody wants something because they feel like it's going to make their life better.
Correct. And I think that obviously with the media and New Year's resolutions, like I'm sure this week when I'm in front of the TV at the gym, there's going to be some story on New Year's resolutions, because it is the driving force of of what we think the new year should be. And with the last couple of years we've had,
Yeah.
a New Year's resolution for a new year is, people want to put these last 2 years behind us. And unfortunately, the way that the state that we live in, doesn't seem to be going anywhere. It's like, it's
getting worse.
It's the same stranglehold on what we think life is. Mm-hmm. And it's sucky because, as soon as you think you have an open door to something, and I don't want to use politics or COVID as this, driving thing, but it unfortunately here it is, with now us being locked down again until the 15th of January.
Is that what it is? Because I don't watch TV, so I didn't.
Yeah. The only reason I know is that I watch the news at the gym in the morning.
Okay.
But yeah, it was December 15th to January 15th. That's the first thing. And then I said, well, after that, we'll see what happens. But the new year should be a new year. To me, the new year is, how can I make it better than the last?
Mm-hmm.
And as we get older, and mostly I saw a great meme the other day. You want to know about life? It says, talk to a 5-year-old and an 84-year-old.
Oh, wow.
Because they'll tell you everything about life. Mm-hmm. Because it is this very far ranging thing of a 5-year-old has the greatest outlook on life in the world. It's playtime and friends and then 84
everything's new.
Yeah, everything's great and new, and the sun comes up, and I play all day, and my friends do this, and we do this. And then you talk to the 84-year-old, and life is still good, but it's about memories and how great things were, and the friends I have left. Mm-hmm. And I think we're in the middle of that, and what you find important is the last years of our life. And I still have the feelings of that 5-year-old, but I do have the feelings of the 84-year-old. I do see memories that are gone and friends that unfortunately aren't here anymore. But I do have that same outlook of like, the friends that are here are great, and I just want to do things. And so I'm trying to mix myself together for this next new year.
You talk about people that have left or people that are gone. I've noticed in my life that people come and they go in and out. Like nobody stays consistent. Like, nobody's been there from birth to however old I am now, except for my brother, but that was 2 years later. But anyway, so what I realized is that nothing is over with our relationships until death happens. Death is the only thing that makes everything stop. But then the growth that you get from things that you remember about that person keeps it going too. So I think that I just now, instead of saying I'll never have anything to do with them again, because never is just a vague idea anyway, I just say, well, things aren't here right now, but now I have space for more, or for something different, or for something that matches where I'm at in my life better. And I think that we need to start looking at it that way, because having space for something new that will benefit us where we're at right now is life evolving.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, that's exactly true. Because the past, or the people who've been in our lives who might not be here anymore for whatever reason, either a friend who's just not who we're falling out with, or death, where it is permanent. And memories, like I'm lucky. I've only lost a few close people to me. Both my parents are still here. But friends, like I was just talking to my friend who was out here for Christmas, and she was very close to a friend of ours who was my tag team partner when I did wrestling. Mm-hmm. She used to braid his hair just like mine. And they had conversations away from me that I didn't know about. And my friend was very tormented and he had issues. He ended up dying of a drug overdose. And to hear her talk about him and me reflect on that are things that are, that will mold us forever. It's like your mother. There's things that in your head that your mom will talk to you forever, whether it's in memories or a situation that you're in. And the first thing you think of is my mom would have said this.
And I say that quite often. You have no idea. Or if I'm walking past a mirror, I see her face. I never in my life looked like my mom. And now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, my mom just came out of me.
Yeah. And like I said, the holiday thing with my friend, we talked a lot about a lot of things of our past. And that was one of them. And I was like, she said something about my friend. And I was like, I didn't know that. And I didn't know that she knew and then I said something and she was like, oh yeah, like I didn't know that, but it makes sense now. And we kind of put this 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 together and kind of realized that we didn't do enough to help him. And it was,
you got to let yourself off the hook though, because hindsight is 2020.
No,
and
for
not
sure.
only that, but when a person is on a destructive path like that, you can't stop that. You were there to be his friend. You were there he could have reached out. Like it's
correct.
In my life, I've heard that so many times. And I just think, no, if you're a good friend, you're doing your part. What another person does, and if they don't reach out, you're not a mind reader. You can't.
For sure. And I don't think that either of us had any guilt.
Good.
It wasn't about guilt. It was more about realizing that we both knew things that maybe we never talked about, even though we lived in the same house at the time, that you look back and say, oh, we probably could have done more to help. No, I don't live with guilt on a lot of those type of things. He was his own man. So there was things in that, but I think that I think we more just saw the red flags.
Yeah.
And we didn't realize they were red flags until he passed away. I think that was the bigger thing, but those are the things like that, we talk about like in this new year. Like I'm also looking, speaking of red flags, I'm trying to look at red flags as being what they are this next year. And I'm also trying to look at green flags of what they are. That if you see a green flag, maybe you should take it. And if you see a red flag, step back for an instant and go, maybe this is a bigger red flag than I thought.
Maybe I'm being spared by just stopping.
Correct. I think that yes. And that goes for our friends. There's people in this next new year who are probably in relationships that they shouldn't be in, and they're afraid to get out of them. And they're still close to other people that they just won't give up on, where the person has been there all along.
So what's your advice to that?
You only live once. If you're in a relationship that you're not happy in, you're never going to be happy in. If you've been working on this relationship for 5, 10, 15 years, and you're still every day questioning it, you already know the answer.
Yeah.
That you're in something that's never going to be fixed, and you're only in it because you don't want to lose a house, and you don't want to lose this, and you don't want this, and you don't want it to affect your kids. You're insane. It's absolutely insane to stay in something that you're not happy in, and you're still talking with people that are so close to you that you should be with them. It's not the right thing to do. You're never not going to hurt somebody, right?
Yeah.
Someone's going to get hurt. generally it's 3 people. And that's the bad part. It's the person who's in an unhealthy relationship. It's the person they're in the relationship with. And it's the person who is probably they should be in the relationship with, if there's that kind of relationship going on. And I've seen that very firsthand with a few of my friends, that you're just prolonging what's going to happen. At the end of the day, you know the person you want to be with because you talk to them all the time. Or you know the person you want to be with because you knew 10 years ago and you ignored it because you were afraid to hurt that person or to lose a friendship. It's the same stuff. It's you have to jump sometimes with both feet in the water. Twinkling your toes in the water just makes you cold. I mean, you can just, you put a foot in and you're like, oh shit. And you're like, I'm not going in there. Mm-hmm. If you jump in,
it's over. You're
already in. There's no going back. And sometimes not going back is what you need to do. And that goes back to the New Year's resolution. Don't go backwards. You have a new year coming. It's a new year. Change it. If you're willing to go bananas and just change things, I've decided I'm not living scared ever again.
Yeah, I get that. I totally get that.
Because living scared gets us nothing.
Yeah.
It gets us loneliness.
Stagnant.
It takes great people out of your life. It's crazy.
It lets opportunities slip away.
For sure. And just because you're scared. Yeah. Be scared. Being scared sometimes is a good thing. We all watch horror movies for a reason.
I don't.
Well, a lot of people do. A lot of people watch.
But in my defense, I'm the one that will jump and say, when I was married, we probably should have left each other a long time before because things weren't right and we weren't happy. And I know what it's like to sit there and not be happy and to have obligations, to have, to be thinking of my child, or thinking about what he was going to do without me, or was everything going to be okay? Where was I going to be? And all of those fears kept me really scared and kind of trapped. I understand sticking it out. I do, to try to do the right thing or to please somebody else, or, you have to prove that you could do it because you want to be loved. I get all of it. But man, I was so lonely at times, and there was no reason for that. So at least now, if I'm lonely, there's a reason. There's nobody in that space, and that's okay. And I could breathe. Like, you don't understand. I was so at a point where I couldn't even breathe. And now I'm just like, okay, it's still the same way, still feeling lonely, but I could breathe.
Yes, it's a different kind of scared. And I get it. And again, but trying to wheel this back to, a new year and a New Year's resolution, or however you want to put this, it's like, I can go to you right now and say, what are you going to do for the new year, Gina? Are you going to do something different? Whether it's a resolution or not, you've already kind of said it. You're not afraid to jump in anymore, and you're breathing. And,
right.
And I think that most people should look at New Year's resolutions as just that. Look at the next year as something of a building block. What are you trying to build? If you're trying to get out of something, get out of it. If you're trying to get into something, get into it. Like you can't run anymore. You can't be scared of something that's right in front of your face. And you know that it's something that has to be looked at.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Because we all do it.
You know, the more that I've thought about it, the more that I have decided that I am going to get the trike, the Harley trike, the three-wheeler.
Nice.
That's, you know, I've never really done anything like that. And I just feel like I need something for just me, like something that makes me happy, because I'm really searching for things that are making me happy. And the thought of being able to get on this trike with even my niece, you know, like braiding up our hair, putting our helmets on, getting on that stupid bike and going and getting fresh fruits from the side, you know, the people on the side of the road, the little farmers that are selling stuff outside of town. The thought of doing that, just the thought makes me happy. So I know that people have told me that's stupid or it's frivolous or you don't need that or it's not safe. I've heard it all, but my brother told me that was the worst idea he's ever heard out of me. And I was like, really? That's the worst? I don't think this one's that bad in comparison, but I'm going to do it. I need a midlife crisis machine. I need a big thank you to the end of my old life and beginning of my new one.
Mm-hmm. And see, there you go. There's your resolution.
It wasn't really a resolution. It's a way of life right now. Like I'm just focusing on that.
But you're looking at that as part of the new year.
Yes.
So again, not a resolution per se in the way we're talking about them, because like I said, I'm trying to look at a resolution as a different thing. Yeah. Most people look at it as this short-term goal.
Yeah.
I think you should look at a new year or a New Year's resolution as a long-term goal. Look at it. It's not just next year, it's the year after and the year after. Let's stack on top of that resolution or promise to yourself or whatever it is. And it shouldn't be this, you know, short-minded thing. I want my next year to be something that could be very much long-term.
Right.
Like I'm going to change for me because I want to change for the future. And I want this to be better and that to be better and this to be better. And if those get better, then this can happen or whatever, like just this multiplying thing. Because it's not easy. The New Year's aren't easy for some people as well, because of whatever else is going on in their life. You know, I have a hard time with Christmas. New Year's, I'm like, oh, I'm good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, yes, I mean, you have a good reason for Christmas not to be the greatest thing, you know. So, I can't go down that route, at least for me. Yeah. The holidays are always weird anyway. I think as you're lonely, being lonely in the holidays is never a good thing. Yeah. It's just not for anyone involved. And I think that's because of the stigma of the holidays. It's the stigma of being somewhere on New Year's Eve. Are you going to be somewhere on New Year's Eve? Are you going to be doing this on New Year's Eve? Are you going to be with someone special on New Year's Eve? It's like, it's overwhelming. It's stress. Yeah. Yes. Which we talked about before, you know, about holiday stress, that it's already hard. And then you put emotional or relationships on top of that already stress of buying gifts for everybody and doing this thing and having to be somewhere. Because, you know, Hollywood makes New Year's Eve kisses seem like the end all. You know, are you going to be somewhere on New Year's Eve and get a kiss at the, you know, beginning of the new year? It's like, well, yeah, I mean, it'd be great, but it shouldn't be the only goal. You know, sometimes your goal should be sex should be. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm kidding. Yeah, I get that, but I'm really not kidding. But yes, that should be a goal as well. But, or your goal should be talking on the phone with the person that means the most to you on New Year's Eve. So it should be a lot of different things. But I think that your resolution should be life. Change your life. Not just a change it or just tweak it. tweak it, change it. Changes or tweaks or changes.
Yeah.
Anything's a change. If I wake up tomorrow and go, I'm going to put my left shoe on this year first before I put my right. It's a tweak, because I'll tell you, I'm superstitious. I always put my right shoe on first.
Why?
I don't know. I did it when I played hockey. I put my right skate on first. I started winning a lot, and I was like, well, so I do it with my shoe as well.
I always just put on the shoe I find first.
Mine are generally together. So I'm weird like that. And again, it's not even a superstition. I get nothing from it. I don't think like if I put on my left first, I'm going to die in a car accident. I just do it. It's like, so yes, you could tweak something very slightly, or you can tweak something very largely.
I'm very upset. Now you just gave me an issue. Now I got to pay attention to what I do more than I already do. Thanks for that. Thanks.
Sorry.
My shoes are generally together.
Yeah, well, they are, because I take them off together.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really weird about that kind of shit too, like putting my shoes in a certain place. Like yeah.
I kick mine under the bed, so you gotta go fishing sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a second.
I know what's going on here.
But there are weird little tweaks like that. And I think that those are the resolutions that people should really look at. Yes, if you have a goal to lose weight, go for it.
Absolutely. Be healthy. Maybe we need to change the verbiage of all this stuff. And diet just makes people like cringe. I've noticed. Maybe we just have to say, we just need to eat more vegetables. It should be that simple. Like, not make it this big, huge deal. Do it in baby steps. Like, make it to where you could be successful at it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's the bigger thing. These goals don't have to be massive.
Yeah, they shouldn't be massive, because let's face it, if we could do what we want to resolve to do, we would have already done it.
Yes.
So if it's a work in progress, take smaller steps. That's what I say.
Yeah. I mean, your goal should be attainable, right? You don't want your goal shouldn't be something so big that you can't get it. It should be an attainable goal. Like, I'm going to eat better, or I'm going to try this, or like fasting. Like, I tried fasting and it works for me. Like, it really works for me, or at least it has so far. Like I said, 10 weeks, 40 pounds. It's working. I don't eat from 7 at night to noon the next day.
Okay.
It's just something I tried. So, but it was something small. I was like, well, let me try this, because I don't want to murder people if I'm hungry. Because I will, I used to get hangry. Now it doesn't even blink. I don't even get hungry. Like, I don't even get nothing in the stomach. I'm just like, okay, do my thing. At noon comes, make my lunch, all good. Like today, it's, I still haven't ate and I'm doing okay.
Nice.
But those are the things, like, small tweaks are great. Have a goal, have a mission. That should be your resolution. My resolution is to be happier this year, whatever that means.
Since I left my ex, that's been a constant goal, just to not be a big crybaby every day and cry the whole day and feel sorry for myself. And I am one that uses that term, fake it till you make it, a lot, because that's what I do a lot. But you know what I've noticed? That I'm handling things way better than I probably ever have in my life. Not that it's perfect, not that I don't want to do it kicking and screaming, but at our age, it's like, it's just okay to feel that and not have to react too. So I found that I'm probably faking it more than I'm making it, but still trying to be happier and not let myself crumble. So I think I'm actively working on that one.
Yeah. And again, I think that that's a great goal for you to have.
Yeah.
I mean, I fake it till I make it. I have. I'm going to do my best this year to not wear a mask in front of anyone.
Except for when we go into a restaurant or
yeah, exactly. The metaphorical mask. I'm going to try to be the most truthful person I can this year. Just whatever's going through my head, I'm going to say, and whatever feelings I have, I'm going to say. Too many people wear masks. And
yeah,
I used to tell people, mostly with political nonsense, if you really knew what your friends thought, they wouldn't be your friends.
No, that's true.
And it's true because most people won't overlook something. I have friends that we're vastly different on the political scale. And for me, I don't care. Like, that's your own life. As long as you're not taking away my rights, we're all good. My good friend who just visited, we have very different outlooks on some things, but we don't let it affect our relationship. And I think that that's good. And again, being happy. I want to be happy, whatever that is.
In the last couple weeks, I've had 3 different people say that they've listened to the podcast and that they really like me being me, that even as friends, I guess I'm not as open at times about some things, I guess, probably about me. I'm open about everything as long as it's about somebody else. Like I'm okay to let everybody talk. And I've heard 3 different times very recently that I need to be more myself all of the time. And so I really do struggle with being me all the time because I censor the heck out of myself. Mm-hmm. So yeah. I need to be more me in public, like not in public, but just be more outwardly me and not try to hold back so much. Because I believe that just me being me and talking to people and explaining my experiences and just not having an agenda when I talk to them, it's making a difference. It's changing me, but I also think it's changing the people that I'm around in a positive way. And maybe we could all climb up this mountain together and not be so freaking miserable. So I'm going to try to be more me, open to being more me, less censored.
Perfect.
There's one for you.
And that's I think a great goal for this year. I think I will do the same. Like I said, mine's the mask, and censoring myself sometimes is what I do. And I'm going to do my best. I don't want to hurt people's feelings.
No,
but I'm definitely going to be very much more open with people, and I think in general with people, we were talking earlier, sometimes you have to shut a door on a person, mm-hmm. and it's not for the welfare of anyone but yourself. And then sometimes you have to open the door wide open and you got to let people in. Those are the things that I think will make you happy and not make you wear a mask as often. I don't want to wear a mask. I want people to know exactly how I feel about them, whether it's good or bad. And I don't mean to hurt you, but this is the way it is. Goes back to what we were talking about earlier. People need to be happy in their life. There's people who are stuck in situations that they don't want to be in. They need to open themselves up to seeing a much brighter future with somebody else or something else or in another state or whatever it is. That should be your goal for the new year. Be a better person, feel better about yourself, and try to be happy. And if not censoring yourself is going to do that, Tina, that's what you need to do. And whatever I need to do, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to work hard going forward for this year, next year, and the year after. And part of that is making this podcast, a much more enjoyable thing to listen to with whatever we're going to do. And if we're we're affecting other people, whether we like it or not. And I didn't know that until I listened to somebody else where they said that it affects people and how they see you. My friend came to me, and we're going to do a show soon. Hopefully really soon, with someone who wants to come on and talk about some issues they're having. And the first thing she said to me is that she thinks that you can change or help her, the person that's going to come on. And I thought, you're making a difference as well in people's lives by just them listening to us talk back and forth to each other, and maybe just saying that the next year is going to be better and be happy and be something that maybe it'll affect them. And I think that that's a good thing.
Thank you. I hope that it does affect everybody. I wanted to look, I'm not here to blow smoke up anybody's ass. I'm not here to make anybody miserable. I'm going through my own stuff, and I'm trying to find a way through it as easy as I can. And if what I'm going through helps somebody else, I'm the first one to say, listen to what I'm saying. This is how I did it. Because life is a lot already. It's stressful already. Everybody feels alone. Everybody feels abandoned. Everybody's feeling depressed. Everybody's feeling uncertainty. That's just what everybody's going through right now. And if I could come up with a way to say it that makes it not so hard to deal with, then I want to try to do that, because I need to hear it. Let's forget everybody else. I'm trying to work on me. I need to hear it. And I think that we're kind of all in this together, and we're all going to get through it together.
That's it. So we're about out of time. Okay. I think that this has been a good show about resolutions and the lack thereof, or if that's what you're going to do it. Jump in feet first. Me and my lovable co-host over here, we are going to jump in as best as we can, mostly with the new year with this, our lovable podcast as well. Let's give them the dirt, Miss Tina.
All right. Well, we still would like more listeners. So if you have a friend that you think would like to listen to us, please share. Become a what is the word I'm looking for? Subscriber. And, you'll get your little notifications that we're releasing episodes and stuff like that. You could follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and I believe Twitter.
Yep.
We have listeners in India, Colombia, Australia, the US, the UK, Italy, Russia, and Romania. And I got to just tell you, that blows my mind, these places that people are listening to us. And I would like to say thank you to everybody that is listening. And we've now got to the point where we have listeners in over half of the states. We now have listeners in 26 states. So thank you all for listening. And please continue to share our episodes with friends. And I'd like to see, that's my goal, of the 50 states. Let's see if we could get listeners in all 50. I'm kind of excited about that. We also got 163 downloads in the last 2 weeks, which really pushed up our numbers. So thank you for listening. You don't know what that means. And please continue. If you have any topics you want to talk about, or if you want to reach out and say hi, or you really liked or disliked an episode, please feel free to get in touch with us on social media, and we will make sure to get back to you.
That is correct. And this is an opinion show, so don't get it twisted. We're all trying to have some fun and hopefully affecting your life like you're affecting ours. Until next time, I am Rob.
Hey.
And that is Tina. And we will be talking to you very shortly. I'll see you in a little bit, Tina. Bye.
See ya.